What's up guys, my name is Javier and welcome back to another episode of Tool Craze. So here we got some more Ryobi tools. Both of them are cordless and they run off of their 1+ 18V batteries. So over here we got the crazy new Quiet Strike impact driver, or pulse driver is what it's known as. And over here we got the new brushless high torque hammer drill with, check this out, 750 inch-pounds of torque. So anyways, we're going to take a look at their features first and then take a look at their performance to see how they stack up. And in this video, we're going to focus on the Ryobi 18V Brushless High Torque Hammer Drill. Now, I was going to make this a double video review with both of these models in it, but then the video got way too long and I had to split it up. So what I did was I made a separate video review of the Ryobi Quiet Strike Pulse Driver. So you have to check out that separate video out as well. So first of all, let's talk about the price, because let's face it, we all want the top brands with all the best features and performance. But some of us can't exactly afford or would want to spend hundreds of dollars on the top brands. And that's exactly why we take a look at the budget brands that pack good bang for your buck like Ryobi does. The brushless hammer drill is sold as a kit only, which comes with one battery, the large 4 Ah battery. It comes with the green fast charger and a soft tool bag for $149. This is about the same price as the previous Ryobi cordless hammer drill that I reviewed when that model came out. But remember that this model is sporting a brushless motor, which is more efficient. So you're going to get more power, more performance, it runs cooler, it's going to last longer, and there's no brushes to replace, and you'll get better runtime. Another thing to note is that it comes with only one battery. It's their best battery so far, the 4.0, so depending on how you look at it, it's either better than having two small batteries or worse than not having two batteries. The older hammer drill came with two compact 1.5 Ah batteries, and if you add those two up, that's 3 Ah total. So this single 4.0 battery is better in the sense that you'll get more runtime than the other two combined. But the downside of only having one battery is that if you only have this battery and it runs out of juice, it's pretty much game over until you can charge it again. But if you have more than one battery, you can have one ready to go while you charge the other one. Now let's take a look at its features, starting off with the features it has in common with previous models. It's no surprise that it has many of the carryover features from other cordless Ryobi tools, such as the magnetic tray that can hold a few screws and extra bits to free up your hands. It features the dedicated bit holder up in front and the handy dandy belt clip on the side. And just like the previous hammer drill I reviewed from Ryobi a couple of years ago, it also shares the same 1/2-inch ratcheting metal chuck. Just like the previous model, even though it ratchets, it doesn't have that premium clickety noise that you get from the more expensive brands, and it feels more like the cheap ratcheting chuck found on the Harbor Freight 18V Chicago electric hammer drill. And for the most part, the chuck has pretty good grip, but there was that one instance that the bit fell out while I was testing it out. But it never happened again, so it might have just been my own fault for not tightening the chuck all the way down. It has the LED light below the handle for better visibility, which the previous model had. And I like that the light stays on for about 10 seconds after you let go of the trigger. So you can set down the drill and use it as a temporary flashlight. And over at the top, it also has a separate mode selector collar, just like the previous model did. And it's actually a premium feature, as you can choose between the three modes, between drilling, screw driving, and hammer drilling, without having to touch the torque collar. And just like the previous model, it also comes bundled with a separate side handle. I want to start off by saying that I really appreciate that it comes with a side handle at all, especially since it has 750 inch-pounds of torque, so it gives you something to grab onto when the going gets tough. But because you do pay a bit less with Ryobi tools, they have to skimp out on certain things, and in the case of this tool, they cheaped out on the handle. So first of all, the handle is all plastic, so there's some noticeable flex to it when you grab on tight. It doesn't affect anything, but I don't feel any flexing on the handles of other drills. They also cheaped out on making the handle a 3-piece handle that you have to basically assemble onto the tool. On other tools, you basically fit the handle over the tool and tighten. On this model, however, you have to insert a bolt onto one side, then fit the other 2 pieces on the opposite side, and then tighten until it's on for good. It just takes a lot more time and effort than the other drills to install. So is this a huge deal? Probably not, but the installation process on the other drills is a lot more streamlined. What I do like about this new model is that Ryobi gave this drill some pretty good looks, as it's pretty stylish for a drill. I happen to like the styling on this bad boy, and I think it looks pretty sleek. Now, they didn't just give it slick looks, as it's also more ergonomic up in the handle department. They made the handle a lot more comfortable to grip, and it's very form-fitting to my hand. And as you can see, they give you this nice molding that fits my fingers very nicely with these additional 2 ridges right here, one for each finger. They also slimmed up the top of the handle that makes it more comfortable to grip. It also has this weird ribbing here on the front of the trigger. Now, I wasn't crazy about it, as it feels a little bit weird, but I don't know, maybe some of you guys might like it. In the cordless drill world, it basically comes down to 2 types of drills. You either have compact drills or high torque drills. Compact drills are small, compact, and light, while high torque drills have more torque but are larger and heavier. And since this model has 750 inch-pounds of torque, it puts it in the high torque drill category, and as such it's larger and heavier than compact drills, since it's 8 inches in length and weighs about 5 pounds with the battery. But that's actually very competitive with other high torque drills, as there are heavier and longer high torque drills out there, so this model is pretty good in this department. I also wanted to mention that high torque drills usually have exposed metal casing over the gearbox around this area. But in the same area on this Ryobi, it's basically all plastic. They made it look like it's metal, but it's really just a plastic piece. Now, does this really matter in the end? Probably not, since even the compact models use all plastic housings nowadays, but it just doesn't have that premium feel of a more expensive high torque drill. And now for the part you've all been waiting for. It's performance testing and results. So to quickly sum it up, basically I do feel that it does have 700-ish inch-pounds of torque, which puts it in the range of the high torque drills from many years ago. Obviously not in the range of today's high torque drills, as many of those push beyond 1,000 inch-pounds of torque. But there's good news and there's bad news to go along with this performance. For those of you interested in comparing this model to the previous 18-volt brushed hammer drill, the one that I previously reviewed, the good news is that it is in fact more powerful than the previous model. But, now here's the but, is that it's only more powerful in the speed 1 setting, which is the high torque mode. So basically under the same test with the same battery with a larger drill bit and in the speed 1 setting, I noticed that the previous hammer drill struggled with this bit. I mean, really struggled. And the overload protection kicked in a few times before the hole could be finished. Whereas the new brushless model has no problem with this larger bit. So that was the good news. But everything is the exact opposite when you use larger bits in the high speed speed 2 setting. So here both drills were equipped with the same battery and a Daredevil 1-inch bit set to the high speed drilling. And on the left, the older model with less torque actually does pretty good in this test. But on the right side, the new model with more torque doesn't do so well. The main reason being that the overload protection kicks in a bunch of times, preventing the tool from doing its job correctly. And here's another test showing the brushless drill in second speed using a 1-inch speedbore bit side by side with a competing drill with slightly less torque. And as you can see, the drill on the left was able to finish the hole with no problem, while the overload protection kicked in several times on the Ryobi. And looking back at the footage, I can tell that the Ryobi has the webbles to finish the hole with around the same amount of torque as the other drill, but just as the first time, the overload protection is too sensitive, which prevents the drill from doing its job properly. And in this last test, I also wanted to show you guys that the overload protection is too sensitive even when drilling in the high torque speed 1 setting. as the Ryobi should be able to finish this 2 9/16 inch hole without any problems. And since this is a hammer drill, I might as well show you guys how it does at hammer drilling, starting off with a small bit. And it does fairly good with the small bits. And here's its performance with a larger, but still small 3/8 inch bit into hard 4,500 PSI concrete. And as you can see, it struggles a little bit, so basically you're getting decent performance for a cordless hammer drill. If you plan on doing larger-ish holes into concrete, I'd suggest you go with a corded hammer drill or a rotary hammer. So basically this new brushless hammer drill does have some good torque, and I do believe that it does have around 700 inch-pounds of torque for sure. I think it's got a strong motor, but the problem is that its overload protection is way too sensitive. The thing about overload protection is that it's there to protect the motor from being burned up if you push the motor past its limit. So it's a safety feature so that the tool lasts longer. But the test that I put it through should not have made the overload protection kick in prematurely. And this is based off of the performance from other high torque drills that have around the same amount of torque that this model has. Unfortunately, and I really hate to say this, but the overload protection puts a serious handicap on this drill. And because of this, I have a hard time recommending this drill over other drills. I mean, what's the point of having all that power if you can't take advantage of it? It's a shame really, because this drill has a lot of torque and a lot of potential. So what Ryobi should do is that they should adjust the overload protection and tweak it so that it's not so sensitive, and let that powerful motor show us what it's really got. So that's pretty much it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up by liking this video, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and follow me on social media over at Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. And also on the Tool Craze website, that's www.toolcraze.net, and you're missing out on a lot of content if you're not already a regular visitor. I have daily content on there such as tool news, where you're going to hear about the latest tools that are coming out. There's also tool deals, and also tool reviews you won't see here on this YouTube channel. And there's daily content on there every weekday, so make sure to check out the website often. Alright guys, thanks for stopping by, and I'll see you guys next time.